In the wild, every heartbeat is a wager. Dusk spills over the plains, and a herd shivers into motion, dust rising, hooves drumming like distant thunder. From the grass, patient eyes measure distance and risk. Tonight, instinct writes the script, and fortune turns on a single stride. For the next 12 minutes, we enter a world where choices are swift and consequences immediate. Predators and prey weave a living tapestry of tension and grace. There is no malice here, only hunger, caution, and the mathematics of survival. A lioness lowers her body into the reeds. Breath slows, muscles prime. Across the clearing, antelopes adjust their formation, sentries tuned to the faintest ripple of sound. The air itself feels tight, as if the evening is holding its breath. A burst of motion, grass parts, dust blooms. The lioness commits not to fury, but to precision. The herd breaks, turning chaos into a strategy of confusion. One youngster skims the edge of danger, pivots, and finds a ribbon of empty space. The lioness recalculates, reading angles, reading wind. The moment passes. The hunt ends not in triumph, but in a lesson. Energy must be spent as carefully as water. The pride regroups, and the light softens. Cubs watch, absorbing more than any lesson could say. In this classroom without walls, failure is not final. It is data. Tomorrow, the grass will rustle again. Not all battles are fought by giants. On a sandy rise, meerkats stand against the sky, tiny silhouettes alert to every shadow. A whisper passes through the colony, one note, then many. Above them, a hunter circles, power in silence, reach in every feathered beat. A dive, a feint, a scatter. Sand sprays as bodies vanish into warrens, engineered over generations. Talons brush earth and meet only wind. The eagle rises, still regal, its lesson unlearned by none. Awareness is a shield, and family is a fortress. At the water's edge, tension thins into quiet ceremony. Elephants arrive with an authority that rearranges the air. Calves mimic the elders, learning the language of trunks and footsteps. Across the pool, antelopes weigh thirst against uncertainty. Beneath the surface, eyes observe, patient as stone. Lines appear on the horizon, wildebeest threading the land in waves. The earth hums with their arrival, each step a vote of confidence in ancient pathways. Mothers guide the inexperienced through crossings rehearsed by ancestors the calves will never meet. Water fizzes under hooves, a jaw breaches but meets only spray. The herd surges, and a narrow margin becomes a passage. On the far bank, breath returns in chorus. Not victory exactly, continuance. Overhead, a spiral of birds sketches geometry in a fading sky. They are not villains. They are caretakers of endings, stewards of return. What is left to them becomes soil, and what becomes soil grows the grass that feeds the next morning's hunger. The circle is not cruel, it is complete. Darkness gathers not as an enemy, but as another rule. Hyenas materialize from the margins, curious, testing. A restless herd stamps out messages with hooves, here, now, ready. Every sound is a signal, every pause, a paragraph. Clouds stack like mountains, and a single note of thunder unfolds into a drumline. Rain stitches the plains with silver thread. Predators slow, prey tighten ranks. Even patience recalibrates when the sky speaks. Morning returns on quiet feet. Giraffes harvest the high leaves, tongues tracing patterns older than maps. Zebras reorganize their stripes into moving puzzles that confuse distant eyes. Calves test new ground with soft, surprising confidence. Across the puddled lowlands, a lion cub discovers the taste of rain and decides it is worth remembering. By noon, the land is a ledger of chances taken and chances spared. Some hunts finish, others reset. Some journeys pause, others begin. Here, power is not cruelty, and flight is not weakness. Here, survival is a language spoken by many mouths, by those who chase, those who flee, and those who wait for their moment in the middle. And as evening leans in again, the world exhales, not in relief, but in readiness. Tomorrow, the grass will rustle again, and the story will be told not with words, but with steps.
Night peels back from the plains like a quiet curtain, and instincts take the stage before the sun is fully born. Ears lift before eyes open. Noses test the air before paws touch the ground. In the harsh wild, survival is not a plan, it's a reflex. Today, we follow the hidden algorithms coded into muscle and memory, where hesitation costs energy and certainty conserves life. A breeze slides across the grass, carrying news from a distance. Antelopes angle their bodies to read the message. Faint moisture, fresh hoof marks, the shadow of possibility. Their pupils widen, their stance narrows, weight settling toward escape. The day has barely started, and yet the ledger begins. Risk on the left, opportunity on the right. One antelope doesn't sprint, it tilts its head. Another mirrors the tilt. A line of tiny gestures ripples through the herd like a sentence written without sound. They are not voting on fear, they are synchronizing timing. Instinct is choreography, a shared rhythm that turns many individuals into one decision. In the shade, a lioness traces an invisible map with her eyes. She measures gradients in the grass, the angle of light, the distance between sentries. Her body remains a still equation. Only the tail writes punctuation marks. When she moves, it is not bravado, but probability. 1 step reset, 2 steps committed, 3 steps prepared to abandon the attempt. Instinct is flexible, not foolish. The herd's safety does not come from speed alone, but from arrangement. Older animals drift to the edges, where they can read the landscape. Younger ones hold the center, where their reaction time can be trained. When a shadow crosses the periphery, the oldest do not panic, they pivot, creating a fold in the formation that funnels the threat into empty space. Escape is engineered, not improvised. A leopard dissolves into the pattern of branches, sunlight scattered across spots like coins in water. It is not invisible, it is undecidable. The mind of the observer hesitates, and that microsecond is the leopard's oxygen. Nearby, a clutch of ground birds chooses stillness, trusting that motion would shout louder than color. In the wild, intelligence often looks like restraint. From a thicket, the leopard begins a measured approach, then aborts at 20 paces, again at 15, again at 10. Each failed approach refines the model. Wind angle corrected, footfall adjusted, timing tightened. Instinct is not magic, it is iterative. What looks like patience is practice carved into time. Across a shallow valley, African wild dogs assemble without forming a circle. They face different directions, creating a living radar. A cadence of soft chirps and tail flicks builds consensus. The target is not the strongest or the slowest. It is the one least synchronized with the group. When they run, the sound is not thunder. It is a drumline of coordination, each stride borrowing breath from the next. Mid-chase, one dog peels off, not from fatigue, but from arithmetic. Conserving stamina for the relay, it arcs ahead to where the land tightens into a corridor. Another takes the middle ground, reading the contour like a river reads bedrock. The intended outcome is not confrontation, but convergence, a narrowing of options until the target chooses the single path the pack has already prepared to give. At the fringe, a group of pups rehearses with twigs, swapping roles without words. They practice losing the stick and finding it again, practice handing it off and reclaiming it later. Their game encodes future strategies: chase, flank, yield, recover. On a nearby rise, a hyena cub studies the choreography with bright, curious eyes. In this theater, everyone is both audience and apprentice. Heat gathers, the land tightens. Elephants begin to travel not by sight, but by remembered echoes, routes traced by grandmothers who once walked these lines under different skies. The matriarch stops at an unremarkable depression and taps it with her foot. There is no water yet, only the memory of water. The herd believes the tap, and belief becomes action. Trunks carve a shallow basin. The first seep rises, mapping silver veins into the dust. Calves step back without being told. Priority flows toward the elders who read the land. When the surface steadies, everyone drinks in a round that feels like ritual. Nearby, smaller herbivores approach with a careful etiquette of guests. Instinct is not selfish. It is structured generosity that preserves the future of the group. Clouds bloom into towers. The wind rotates, pushing the smell of rain ahead of the rain itself. Grazers tuck into hollows. Predators press low to conserve heat and visibility. Lightning stencils the horizon, and the thunder teaches timing. Count, breathe, wait. In the harsh wild, even the sky is a mentor. A ribbon of flame advances through dry grass, not as disaster, but as reset. Birds read the heat line and ride the updraft. Insects take refuge in cool seams under stone. Small mammals funnel toward already cleared patches where fuel is thin. The fire eats with short steps, and behind its passage, green will write its answer. Survival instinct does not deny change, it navigates change. Darkness returns with a different alphabet. Owls paint the air with soft wing strokes. Bats read the space with sound. A chorus of frogs declares water quality more accurately than any instrument built in a lab. Predators switch to listening for asymmetry, one step off tempo, one breath too loud. Prey switch to rhythms that smear their presence into the chorus. Silence is a message, noise is a map. By midnight, the plains have negotiated a truce with themselves. No speech, no treaty, only a shared commitment to next light. Instincts cool and reset like coals under ash. The leopard finds a branch, the antelope finds the center of the herd, and the elephants form a ring around sleepers who dream without knowing what a dream is. Survival here is not a headline, it is a craft. It is thousands of small decisions aligned to one idea: be here again tomorrow. And when dawn unlaces the horizon, the first ears will rise before the first eyes open, and the work will begin again.
In this eternal
Quiet
struggle,
as breath,
survival
precise
itself
as
is
a
the
heartbeat.
greatest victory.